taking over, that's a promise, not a threat.
Uppercut season off top, you stop breathing.
So that fight's in the win now. So we got two fight cards for next weekend. Both have both great main events. One has a great card. The other one is just, which we'll get into now, is just like it's top break shit. It's like if Top Break has a decent undercard, usually the main event is doo-doo. But this is the other way around. So the main event is actually one of the most anticipated fights of the year, and then the undercard is just it's
doo-doo.
Yeah, I mean it's a showcase. It's a showcase thing. It's not even really.
I don't know. Is it better than the Fury White undercard?
Entertainment wise, it might be.
No, I mean just better.
No. I mean,
is it worse than that? Good lord.
Yeah, I mean the undercard. The main undercard of this is Keyshawn Davis facing someone in a showcase, and then the aforementioned Nico Ali Walsh in the opener in the main card.
Oh no! More Nico Ali
Walsh. Yo, honestly, just going to the main event.
They're not fighting anyone. They're showcases. But of course, the main event obviously is one of the biggest fights of the year with Shakur Stevenson, the WBO Super Featherweight Champion, and Oscar Valdez, the WBC Super Featherweight Champion. This fight, thankfully, got delivered on time, even though not in the division where it's supposed to be. I mean, if you know,
then it wasn't on time. Then the fuck.
Well, I'll say on time as in they're in their primes, and they're actually they're still in their primes. So this is not like one of them suffered a loss.
Let's say we didn't have to wait too long.
Yeah, that's a better way of saying it.
Yeah, because if we would have get remember we were supposed to get this at 126.
Yeah, featherweight. Where Valdez.
So we had to wait, but neither guy took crazy damage. It's not a Floyd. It's not a Pacquiao Marquez or. Nothing really fucked up the fight.
Well, I know. I think Valdez took crazy damage, not Stevenson.
But because Valdez took it because he's more experienced. He's already been a champ. He's been higher level. And he didn't get knocked the fuck out. So I'm not going to say he took crazy damage. He took damage, of course, but not no type of where you don't think he's going to beat he didn't take the type of L in a fight where you don't think he has no chance against Stevenson.
He didn't take L. Yeah, I'm just looking.
So I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, because we said it before. Dude be making wins a lot harder than he should be. Even though his talent, he has the talent, but when you get into wars with niggas like Scott Quigg, and Scott Quigg breaks your jaw in so many places.
Scott Quigg that he missed weight and welterweight or some shit.
Or Cervania, who was pretty much giving him the business for half the fight before he remembered that he could box. Or
I can't remember an excuse for that one, but keep going.
Yeah, or the Mariaga fight where they just.
That was a step-up fight.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't really step-up. They tore each other up in that fight. That shit. Yeah. The Gradovich fight,
keep going.
Yeah, the Gradovich fight was the one where he stepped up. That was the one he brutally knocked out Gradovich. So it's
I like Gradovich, but still, I think Gradovich was past it though.
Yeah, at that time he was, and that was just but it's but you can tell dude, he was following this pattern that he can get ruined, and then of course we all remember too, even someone like Adam Lopez.
I can't. I'm good on that.
Yeah, that one was a fast ref stoppage too. To me, Lopez was giving him the business for a good part of that fight.
You see, I was trying to ride for the Valdez fans out there, but I couldn't. There was no reasonable excuse for that one. Lopez was putting his foot in his ass.
Yeah, and then after that, Velez, he stopped Velez for the first time, and then Burchett was
Velez. Hold on, let's not act like Velez wasn't boxing him up at times and actually winning rounds too.
He was.
That was a competitive fight up until maybe 2 rounds before the stoppage.
Yeah, the last couple of rounds. Yeah, and then
that's almost too competitive. Dude, you can't have that's just telling me like Ryan Garcia needed a knockout for his fight.
Fact.
You're a champion having the type of Ryan Garcia. A matter of fact, at least Ryan Garcia was like throwing legit hands with dude. Like it just looked bad because Ryan Garcia kept getting in the changes and he pulled his head back so he get hit clean. Mm-hmm. But Valdez was fucking getting outboxed by dude.
Right.
And so I can't say at least Garcia would just get hit in exchanges, but he wasn't getting outboxed by this nigga. But you was like, come on.
Yeah, and that's why I mean I know I was picking Burchell to actually beat him because I was like, okay, Burchell.
Yeah, I think all of us did. Shit.
Yeah, I mean Burchell, he was in the division. Like Javelle was clearly the leader in that division. Yeah, I mean he was the cleanup man in that division. And Valdez might have probably prematurely ended his career. Like it's. Yeah, with one of the most brutal knockouts I've ever seen after an extended beating. Like that's one.
That's what I'm saying. Like Valdez didn't get hit with no shit like that leading up to this fight. Like
right, but one thing that did take a hit, and this is in his last fight, is against Robson Canseco. Like dude tested positive for the stimulant, phentermine, which was he drank it as a tea, quote unquote. And
you mean Reynoso and Canelo took it?
Yeah. And that Reynoso camp, man, they find interesting ways to dope up. I gotta say, and then also, I mean, nigga, I kept it real. I kept it all the way real, my nigga. Like,
you did. Niggas find interesting ways.
Like first of all, because I've been trying to find that damn tea because I want to know what that tea. I want to know where I can get this tea. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll take that shit. I'm not training for any fight, nigga. Like I'll take the stimulant ass tea, shit. But then we have the situation where the WBC should have stripped him of the belt. Like you test positive, that his belt should have been gone. But the fact that it wasn't, and then he was still allowed to fight, and then he puts on a horrible performance. Like it seemed,
he barely wins. Like the fight could have been a draw, and no one would complain. Like I felt he did enough to win.
Yeah, so did I.
It wasn't a good performance. Like the fight could have very well been a draw.
Yeah, and the fight, if Canseco didn't decide to like coast in a fight where he was easily he was putting hands.
This nigga was like winning I think 5-2 at one point. Like he was up 4-1 at one point.
Yeah, like all he needed to do was win at least 2 or 3 more rounds, and he would have had this shit in the bag. And then the dude decided to coast, and then Valdez, being the vet, was able to climb his way back into the fight. And he looked terrible. Like I mean, he was labored. He had blotches on the skin. Like he looked like he'd actually been through some shit, and it wasn't even a war. It wasn't even one of the wars.
Facts.
Yeah, so it was just a horrible thing. And meanwhile, you have Shakur Stevenson, who, I mean, obviously, we gave him a lot of grief over the Nakatia fight. Now that fight's aging. Now that wins aging well.
For real.
Yeah, I mean the Clary fight, the Toka Clary fight. Yeah, no, that was what. It was unfortunate. It was not. That was the fight that shouldn't need to go a distance because Clary isn't on that level. But the Herring fight restored the feelings. That was the one. He's like, okay, he hit, the skills were on display, the power was on display. He punished Jamel Herring.
So we gave him trouble for the Joey Gonzalez fight too.
Yeah,
we giving this.
Yeah, the Joey Gonzalez one, that
was another one.
Yeah, you're dating his sister, and him and his Joey and his father are saying all types of racist shit, and then you go and sweet science him for 12 rounds. You're not beating him up. You're just, it's just like that. That was the type of fight where you didn't want to see a switch touch. You wanted to see Joet Gonzalez punished, and then of course we find out that Joet Gonzalez is tough for a racist. It's hard to knock him down. But
I mean, Navarrete showed us that.
Yeah, exactly. But it should have been a lot more. It was that personal.
It's just we wanted Shakur Stevenson to show us that too. There's nothing wrong with both of them showing us that. Right. Kind of like how Mosley and Pacquiao beat up Margarito.
Right.
I mean, we're not mad at either one, but I'm just saying, it would look if both would have, if one of them would have took it easy on her, we would have just kind of they both went all out.
Right. But now, obviously, at the lead up of this fight, Pierre at least is actually putting we see like vignettes and shoulder programming. Like I saw, there's a thing on YouTube about them. Like was it Blood, Sweat, and Tears? Like, I think they have the first episode, and that was a good ass episode too. Like they actually doing a little attention on that. And I think Top Ranks sent us an email for the media call. I think it's tomorrow or Tuesday. I forget. With all the guys in the main card. So it's like they know. And then just to also be super clear, the only reason why we're getting this fight now, which is why I say it's on time, is because Top Rank is going through its little lawsuit with Terrence Crawford. When you say someone is racist, then you gotta do a lot of anti-racist things to nullify the situation, so no one uses it against you in a court of law. Even though Aram is a lawyer himself, but Aram's not a fool. Yeah,
we would never get in this fight if Crawford didn't do this lawsuit. Because remember how they was already trying to match up different fights. Like Davarate was supposed to fight.
Yeah, or Heron was. I mean, Heron was probably gonna face Valdez. There's basically a lot of things. Like I know Bob really wanted to keep Valdez away from Shakur Stevenson. And I'm saying Valdez, Shakur Stevenson, not Shakur. That because Valdez, is. I don't want to call it. He's not protected, but there's reasons why most people think why Bob didn't want him to make for Shakur. So, but just because of that,
but it looks bad on Valdez because Valdez is world class. He's elite. He's been in with all types of different fucking styles. He's a former Olympian, but then you got Aram protecting dude like he's fucking like Rosie Ramirez or some shit.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. Like it should never be to the point. Like honestly, the way the game should have been, niggas should have been taking Stevenson from fucking Valdez.
Right, it is not. But then it was clear that Stevenson wanted to smoke, and Valdez wasn't really, wasn't really pushing for it. Then
low key, this was gonna be the damn Canelo Andre for this era.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this was gonna be if it wasn't for Crawford. Like, let's be honest. Like,
that's what I said. I want to make sure that this fight, if you gotta thank Terrence Bud Crawford for this fight.
Valdez would have went up to fucking. Valdez would have went up to 140 and never fought no fucking Stevenson.
Exactly.
Motherfucker would have been in there with them Arnold Barbosa Jr. and shit.
Yo, facts.
He'd had a fight with Teofimo and we'd be like, damn, like,
yeah.
Like Stevenson ain't here. Like, come on, like,
yeah. But I'm so glad this fight is now here. I mean, obviously it's a unification, and that's another thing too. Like, super featherweight has not had a unification since Barrera beat Robbie Peden back in 2006. As I said that before, like it's been a long time.
The same Barrera you see on Twitter that's about to fight Ricky Hatton
in an exhibition.
Yeah.
And I'm mad too because I actually remember that Barrera Peden fight because I watched that shit live. So it's like, it's a wild that that was a legitimate time of belts were unified. But it wasn't the last attempt though. But that was the belts were unified. So this is good because now at least we're gonna say, okay, who's the number one guy? Oh, he's not undisputed, but at least he'll take steps to being like the number one guy at 130. So yeah, Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez. So King P, man, what do you think about this fight?
Glad we're finally getting this fight. I've been wanting this fight for a while, and I guess we can thank Crawford for this fight. I'm happy. I think it's gonna be a very good fight. I mean, you know who I'm rolling with? My guy Shakur. I think Shakur got this. Easy money.
So what do we think? We call him for a knockout, or we
stop him? Yep, I think he stops him in the championship rounds, 11th round.
Okay, that's what it is.
I think he's gonna take away that left hook of Valdez. I don't think Valdez got anything else for him. If he's aggressive, if he has got the right temperament, and kind of fights a little bit like he did with Herring, I think he'll accumulate enough damage to where it's a late stoppage.
Yes, sir. That's good. Hey, LB, what about you, bro?
Let me put this out. What about real shit? Ladies and gentlemen, Stevenson by decision.
Okay.
I think we'll get like a 116-112 fight.
Okay.
He's gonna clearly damn win, but I feel like he'll be shaky in the last rounds. Only because I'm not discounting Valdez. Because this is the thing with Valdez. He's been in all types of dog fights. He's been outboxed. He's been outboxed several times, even by bigger guys.
Yes, sir.
He's been hit, hurt, dropped. I don't think there's anything new Shakur Stevenson could do to him to make him stop trying to win the fight.
Right.
And I don't think Shakur Stevenson is gonna, like, I think Stevenson respects him more than he respects Herring. He knows Herring, like, let's be honest, like, when you see Herring's good, he's quality, he's world class. But you don't see the talent like that. You don't see the muscle twitch fibers. You don't see the explosiveness like that, like you see in Valdez. You don't see the pedigree either.
Right, yeah, you know.
And this is just facts. Like, this is not, because Herring, I respect Herring.
Yeah, because Herring is a soft fight. He got it from the mud. Like, I mean, Herring came back from 2 losses that would have probably derailed a lot of careers to actually become a champion and actually have
defenses. Like,
yeah, have defenses.
He's had a better career than like 70% of boxers.
Shit, he has better career than the people that actually beat him prior to Shakur. So it's like,
yeah, facts. Yeah, like facts. Like, honestly, his KO win, his upset KO win over Frampton, like,
yeah,
like, he probably has a bigger win than your favorite boxer.
He does.
like I'm just speaking to the general out here. Like, but yeah, like, and I think Stevenson recognizes that. I don't think he's gonna take the chance of just jumping on Valdez like that unless he seriously hurts him. Because if he starts exchanging with Valdez, Valdez can capitalize off that.
Right.
And he knows how to snap that left hook out of anywhere. And he could throw that right hand, he could explode, he jumps with it, counter. And he keeps his power throughout the fight.
He does.
Late in the fight. And he keeps that will to win. Like, I'm a knockout guy myself. Like, I feel like everybody needs to box for the knockout, meaning break you down, take you deep waters, drown you, do what you gotta do.
Right.
But this is one of those fights where you might press for the KO a little bit if you feel something, but if not, just keep doing what you're supposed to do. Just if you gotta jab, pivot, right hand, left hook, whatever, dig to the body, reset, and you gotta do that for the whole 12 rounds. You just do that and win the fucking fight.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't take the chance with Valdez. Just too explosive, too powerful, and he's taken beatings before and then hit niggas. Like, this ain't a guy who's been KO'd or, never came back before. So
right, he's been dropped before he's gotten dropped before he's gone up. So
yeah. And I'm not 100% sold on Stevenson's chin.
Mm.
Usually guys who their defense is like 90% footwork based and they jump back a lot of times, it's like, I don't know, those dudes usually take punches the worst.
They do.
Like, I'm not singling him out. I've watched boxing for a long time, my nigga.
Mm-hmm.
The dudes who have that, like, he's not skittish, but that type of defense it comes from a skittish place.
Right.
And I'm talking as even from experience, like, just moving around, like hopping away from punches and shit. Like, give me a motherfucker who's gonna block, parry, or slip, slide, bob, weave, like. And the thing is, he's doing that because he's young. He can get away with that. Like a guy like Valdez is going to step in and bang overhands and shit. So he has to be aggressive and just keep Valdez at the end of his jab, man. So yeah, Stevenson by decision. Like 116, 112. Might see a knockdown on either side, but Stevenson will clearly beat you.
Yeah, and I feel the same too. Yes. I think Stevenson will probably beat him like maybe a 117, 111 type decision.
I can see that.
Or 117, 110. Because I mean, I do think that if someone does go down, it's going to be Valdez. But make no mistake though. Valdez, is dangerous from 1 to 12. He can bomb you out with one shot if you're not careful. He can turn the tides with one shot.
Make no mistake on who the company wants to win this fucking fight.
Oh yeah.
So Stevenson can't take no chance. He has to win these rounds clearly and big. Yeah. Don't do no stupid shit. Because if Valdez wins 2 rounds, that means he's won 3. If he's won 3, he's won 4. If Valdez wins 4 rounds, that's a draw, nigga.
Yeah.
If Valdez wins 5 rounds, motherfucker, that's 115, 113.
Yeah, he's won the fight. But yeah, he has to make sure that Shakur, for his style, because I mean Shakur has a 50% knockout ratio. Yeah, it's somewhere around there. Like he has to put, like, Shakur has to really, just like he did in the Herring fight, he has to put it all together. Like, I'm not saying, he has to, like, his offense has to be on point. Like, he has to put his foot in his ass. Like, the sweet science all you want, but you gotta make sure you hurt Valdez. You gotta make sure you hurt him with some shots that he doesn't see.
Because even when he's sweet sciencing, he needs to be snapping his shots and make sure it's aggressive sweet sciencing. Like, turn into the rap mode, not hip hop mode. Like, put 808s in that, behind that jab, like,
right. Yeah,
absolutely. 2 of the samples on the flurries and throw some drama king in that shit, motherfucker. Like, throw some real heat in that bitch.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, on paper, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a fight of the year. I mean, if it's going to be like a fight of the year type of fight, that means, either somebody's defense failed. I mean, that means Shakur's defense failed. Like, if it turns into a fight of the year,
or both guys fought at their very best,
right?
Because come on, let's not act like Valdez can't push this to a. Because look, after the Burchell fight, I can't really down. I learned my lesson. Like, I'm like. See, last time when we picked Burchell, we was also like, man, he's gonna beat the shit out this guy. He's nothing. I mean, we was all know like he's nothing. Like, we respected him, but we just was like it was damn near Morales Maidana type shit. Like,
right. But then this time around though, we have to make sure that, like, he's not drinking his tea and everything like that.
That's true too. But it's like, but even then, it's like. You getting a Super Mario powered up version of this nigga, so I mean, he's like, he got the Shinobi power up. Now he's doing like the bigger shurikens and shit. Like, so that's all I'm saying. I ain't gonna just say he definitely got to look. If he was a knockout Stevenson, I would not be surprised.
Right? Yeah,
I'd be like, okay, like I said, like, I still feel like there's a question mark with Stevenson with the chin, like.
Yeah, I mean, funny thing is too, the chin question is usually always like the question that's always get answered last for most of the time.
It is. Nigga, we just found out about Spence chin in the damn Porter fight, like.
Yes.
like, dude, I mean, come on, like, because certain divisions, certain fighters. They don't get a chance to fight a real puncher or somebody who's really throwing heat. Right. So we don't know how good their chin is.
Right. Or I'll go to a more historical example of Muhammad Ali. Now, obviously, the 60s Muhammad Ali barely got hit like that. I mean, dude was ridiculous. I mean, when he did get hit, obviously he recovered. But in the 70s, when his feet kind of slowed down, because Ali had a lot of foot-based defense. When he said when his legs kind of slowed down, he found out that he had an all-time great chin. Well,
But this is the thing. He was still tough as Cassius Clay. Remember, look, Doug Jones put hands on Ali.
he did.
Like, there's some people who felt Doug Jones did enough to win, like, or get a draw in that fight, and I wouldn't even argue against it.
Mm-hmm.
It just the quality of punches had increased too when Ali got older.
Yeah, exactly.
But he never gave you the whole chinny vibe back then. Like,
no, never did.
Because people did put hands on him, people did touch him, but most of the time he put more hands. Like, Ali was hitting dudes 3-1, 4-1.
Yeah, and most of it, but then also people always used to say because he moved around so much that he probably did have a weak chin. But when it turned out that dude probably has an honorable top 10 chin of all time, and that's not then like
top chin. I mean, he has the greatest chin. I mean, who has a better chin than Ali?
Probably Oliver McCall. That dude is. Yeah, Oliver McCall took,
I mean, you could put
because Oliver McCall takes punches without blinking, which is, that's,
I mean, damn.
He took flush punches without blinking. That in itself is kind of creepy to me. So, Ali at least, he got lit up every now and then, but no, Oliver McCall was just like, nah.
I mean, we don't know if Oliver McCall could take a leaping prime Joe Frazier left hook though.
No, but he took flush Lennox Lewis punches, so it's like
Lennox Lewis ain't got no fucking leaping Joe Frazier left hook.
Well, he didn't need it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a Joe Frazier left hook is like, come on, man. Like, Lennox Lewis got a good left hook, but he ain't a left hook nigga like Frazier, bro. Like, that leaping hook he had hit Ali with is like ain't too many heavyweights getting up from that shit.
No, of course not. The Frazier.
I can see maybe fucking Vitali getting to his knees, fumbling for a mouthpiece.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe Holyfield. Yeah, ain't too many. Yeah, like.
But
ain't too many niggas thinking that, but Oliver McCall, I got you. So, but like you said, ain't too many niggas you putting over Ali.
Right. And like I say, I mean, it's like Shakur maybe down the line might actually show himself to, to be, to have a really solid chin. But like I say, I mean, obviously he's young now, so it's like, you probably got, like I say, it might take him a while to his chin level to get exposed or not. But it'll be interesting to see, what happens if Valdez lands flush on him?
Yeah, he'll definitely get hit. Like, it's just to the degree of how bad he get hit.
Right? Is it gonna be?
Valdez put hands on everything.
Right. So I mean, that's what makes it an interesting fight. Like, there's a lot of questions. There'll be some questions that will be answered not just on one, but both fighters. Depending on who shows up for that matter.
And whoever wins is definitely a top 10 pound for pound.
Yeah, he'll definitely make it. And like I said, they'll probably put themselves. I mean, in terms of big fights at 130, I mean, obviously, 130 doesn't have a lot of big name fighters like that. It just has a lot of solid fighters, especially the other two that actually hold belts. Get
that dude who beat Colbert a shot.
Well, Colbert, yeah, exactly. Or Gutierrez, Roger, who's a tough guy. Or the Japanese fighter that won it on the undercard of Kambosos and Lopez.
Yeah, him. I mean, you got some fights that can be made. Like, they just not big marquee names, but you definitely got some fan friendly, some bouts that could enhance your resume.
I mean, it's not gonna be the 130 of of the mid 2010s and shit where cats were destroying themselves, but there's potential in that division.
So it's not gonna be the 130 in the damn late 90s, early
right?
Casamayors and Freitas and shit like.
Yeah, exactly. The Floyds and paralysis and shit like that.
But I may do with this.
Yeah.
It ain't good enough. I'm not good. They're gonna eventually move to 135. And whoever's not left at 135 going to 140 gonna be at 135. So,
for sure. And then Henny got. I see you. You said, "Why was I an hour behind?" Thinking y'all was talking about Frank Warren. Oh, bro, we said our piece on Frank Warren and that whole card, bro. You missed it. You might have to do a little rewind.
we actually did talk about it.
Yeah, we actually spent more time on that whole fight than we cared to. But shit didn't get talked about, bro.
But shit, I mean, we pretty much done with this. We just So we all agree, like Stevenson gonna win this shit.
Yeah, I mean, Peace calling for the
knockout. KO.
Yeah, Peace calling for a knockout, and me and you thinking it's decision. So.
Man, I mean, P ultra confident. I'm usually the damn knockout picker. So when I see King P damn pick for a knockout, I be just getting like anxious. I'm like, oh, okay, like.
Yeah, I wonder what the odds are for this Valdez Stevenson. I wonder who's the underdog in this betting underdog before we go on to the next one.
Valdez is the underdog.
Oh, by what kind of odds are we looking at?
Oh, I don't remember. I think the odds, from what I remember off the top of my head, the odds were kind of close.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I got an odds checker on this. So pretty much I see Valdez ranging from a 350 underdog to a 400.
It must have went up over time because it was close when it was first announced.
Yeah, I remember he was like plus 115 or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
he's gonna get a boxing lesson. Sounds like he's a 3-1 underdog.
It must have been when it was announced it was closer, but yeah, I think now the odds are kind of widening. Like Oscar is like, yeah, I mean that, and Shakur is like minus, was it 500 and shit like that.
Was talking this shit on that damn that Blood, Sweat and Tears, which is pretty well produced, and that shit he said about like, I know, Floyd is, the greatest or he's the best, but I think I'm better than him. And I was like, he need to have that energy. That's how he gotta talk.
He do.
He just have to live up to it. That's it.
Yeah. Let me go on. Yeah, I'm about to go on FanDuel. Let's do a quick little before we go on to this one. So on FanDuel, Oscar is a plus 340 underdog.
Wow, so them shits, damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
got me on that log. Let me log into Bovada now.
That's just a straight up. That's a straight up money line right there. So it's like, yeah, I mean, in draws, plus 2,000.
I know that. I know niggas is gonna get it.
Yeah, I mean,
put some on for that, bro, dude.
I mean, if you put someone on the KO, you get. I mean, Shakur for KO is plus 260. Oscar for KO is plus 500.
Damn, so wow.
And then an Oscar Valdez points decision win is plus 1,000.
Jeez, nigga, like, oh man, them odds is like crazy, like,
yeah,
like they making it seem like it's impossible for Valdez to win. Like, he could look, like we said, he could win a close enough fight where he could get a decision, and it's possible he could knock Shakur Stevenson out. So plus 500 for the that's crazy. Oh, wow. I know one of you niggas. I know somebody's out there gonna take them odds.
Yeah, like this fight is probably a degenerate gambler's dream right now.
Yeah, like I wonder if they're gonna have special bets on that, like special odds and shit, because they had that for White Fury. So
yeah,
this shit like come on. What's the odds for a draw? Like that's probably like plus 25.
2,000.
2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit!
Yeah. These odds are kind of crazy. They're all over the place because they're all pretty feasible if you actually really think really hard. Like it's not a joke. Like so yeah. I mean, this fight, like I said, this fight is definitely. Damn. Yeah, this fight is gonna be crazy. Like I can't. I personally.
It's like they're giving him a barely better shot than Aaron.
Yeah.
I think Aaron shit was like plus 700 or something.
Yeah.
But shit, like wow, like niggas are just like already like nah, like okay. I mean, this is why they fight the fight, so this got me even more hyped. And
yeah,
I know Valdez is looking at this like, damn, these niggas think I'm trash. I'm undefeated too. Like I'm legit. Like
yeah, and Valdez for once he actually looks good in training. I've seen all them videos. Like I mean, now obviously, I mean, we'll have to see what these drug tests are gonna be like, But he looks good. Like he looks bigger than a fucking super feather. Like to be honest, but that's
motherfucker always been big, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, you training with a bunch of big motherfuckers like Ruiz and Canelo, like
yeah.
They can probably walk around as a damn welterweight.
Facts. But yeah, no, I can't wait for this fight. Even if the undercard is not what it needs to be, but at least, like I said, at least the main event should be something to see. Like it'll be somebody's coming out party as a pound for pound contender, top 10 contender for sure.
And a future Hall of Famer, because this is one of those legacy building fights where you putting your foot in the door on that down that path, And Shakur Stevenson, he's doing the right thing, taking a fight like this when you're young. You don't want to be taking these big ass fights when you're fucking 30 years old. Like,
right.
Your body's like way different. Like, if you ever fucking played basketball and you hit up the court, you try to ball with the young niggas and they're like 18, 19 and you're 22. Like, there's a difference. Like, you're stronger than them, but these motherfuckers is like going to school playing ball. You working and playing.
Yeah, it definitely hits different for sure. Like,
I didn't picture the difference when you're 22 and the motherfucker who's like 28, 30, 29, 30 years old. Like,
right.
Even the bigger difference, like, because this motherfucker been working and doing all that shit longer than you. So, like,
right.
Yeah, I get it. So.